Hey, what's up, YouTube? So, I know I'm a little late to the topic. I originally did do a video, well, like a little test video to see how I would talk on the subject, but I think this one I can knock it out of the park. So today we're gonna talk about the Key Bridge incident, and it was a sad incident. You know, a couple people lost their lives. I think it was maybe like 20 or 7. I kept hearing things, and it was just tragic, man. It was just very tragic to see something like that happen because you would never think something like that would happen, especially near where you live. And I live right near Baltimore, right near Baltimore. So when my friend sent me this on Discord, I was shocked, very confused, and in disbelief, very in disbelief. But when the news finally came out that it wasn't Bmore, it was the Bmore Francis Scott Key Bridge that got hit, and I saw the picture on Discord from my friend, and I was just like, damn, man, like, how could a bridge just like that fall? It just collapsed just like that. And it made no sense. It didn't make any sense at all, man. And I was like, a bridge like that, a bridge, it could be any bridge that collapsed, but a bridge right near where you live collapsed, you would never think something like that could happen, but or would happen, but it definitely can. And, I would say that's even more scary for me being a Marylander, as we know it, because now I feel like it's kind of a lot bridge phobia. Maybe I'll coin that term, bridge phobia, because because maybe now going across bridges, you start to feel scared of stuff like that happening, and stuff like that happening. You could never even imagine until you were probably like in a situation like that. God forbid, but if you were in a situation like that, it probably make you afraid of going across bridges from now on. So I feel like that could put you in a tough spot on whether you want to take the bridge to work if you have to, or you have to take a different way to work to avoid the bridge so you don't experience bridge phobia. So I think it's kind of unlocked a new fear. And me per se, people who take bridges, I hope you never have to deal with anything like this. But no, just be careful driving. Be very careful driving because you never know what's gonna happen. And you definitely wouldn't want this to happen to you. So I can understand, the pain of those people who are involved. I might show a clip, but I don't know if it's okay by YouTube, but I could show it. They even got any surveillance footage of it on Twitter. And the true damage is really done by a drone. Shout out to my man WEE man on Twitter. It's from Twitter. I think it's shown by the news too, so maybe I might be okay with it. But it was a video of the bridge collapsing once the cargo ship hit it, and it was just very, very depressing to see that. I think I'd rather just show a gif of it, to be honest with you, because it was just very tragic, very tragic. But to see something like that happen, man, it's very, very heartbreaking, man. That definitely had me very heartfelt, very heartfelt. And prayers out to those people that were involved in an incident like that, who were involved the other night. I think it was at 1 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the time. It was like 1 o'clock, March 26th, early in the morning. And I think at 1 o'clock, that was when the ship was boarding. The ship, it was boarding to set under that bridge. And, it was going, it was planning to go under the bridge, I'm pretty sure. It was planning to go under the bridge, and then they had crunch time on their hands, so they had to probably move. And by the time it got near the bridge, the power, it just suddenly snapped and shut off just like that, which was pretty sad, man, and concerning. Very sad. So, and when I watched the clip of it, I noticed how it lost power for a couple seconds. And it did this twice. The first time it lost power for a couple seconds, the ship. And it seemed like it was trying to swerve and turn away from the pillage that it was about to hit, the bridge pillage. I'm pretty sure that's what they call it. Not the foundation. The foundation is like probably the stretch of the bridge, like the rows and stuff, like how far it stretches apart from one side to another so the cars could get across. That's basically, the foundation. It's basically like, I would say like, it's like the length of the bridge, just to keep it a little bit precise. And it seemed like the second time it hit, the power also went out. And it seemed like as soon as it was trying to turn, the captain or whoever was in that thing, it just lost control because of the power. It didn't have any power. And it just, boom, hit right into it. And it just seemed like it just collapsed. Like it just collapsed like a road. Because I've seen roads like that collapse before. Like roads, not just bridges, but it just collapsed like maybe a drawer or a house. And I was like, this is where this part comes in. I'm gonna start talking about this part now. I was like, how can a bridge like that collapse? If I'm not mistaken, the bridge was built in August 7th. I think it was August 1972. The Francis Scott Key Bridge was built, right? And I understand at the time too, technology wasn't, it obviously wasn't as advanced, as it is 50 years later. But it could have been maybe built stronger to withstand an impact like that. And obviously, I remember like, I seen bridges from the 1800s, like they just built of wood. Like this just built of wood, but I'm wondering like, how can a bridge like that collapse just like that? Because either they didn't update the bridge enough, like each year, to do the upkeep on it. So in case said event happened like this, it wouldn't be as detrimental to the parts that connect the bridge together and keep it strong. So I would say maybe they probably could have did a little bit more upkeep on it, because would have lessened the consequences of something like this happening again. And I personally have never seen anything like this before happen. So for me, I felt like maybe it might have been a wake-up call. And I think it should be a wake-up call for the construction workers. Construction accidents happen all the time. But, and it's an unfortunate thing. Again, too, I live in Maryland. And this I felt like it affects me a lot more because of the fact that it's so close to where I live. But these accidents, they happen a lot, and hopefully that's a wake-up call for them to maybe build the bridge stronger this time. Because if I'm not mistaken too, this is gonna be how can they rebuild the bridge to be stronger? So I'm hoping they could build like a two bridges instead of one. And I'm pretty sure just like the Delaware Bridge, like at first it was one bridge. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge. I remember looking at a Google image in the 1950s. It was one bridge. As you seen the picture, one bridge. So that means it had maybe two lanes. Maybe it had two lanes on one bridge. So one lane went maybe left, the other lane went right onto the other side. So instead of doing that again and risk that scenario happening again, I'll probably see maybe now this time they should build a two bridge. And by two bridge, I mean maybe having one bridge that has two lanes, one bridge that has maybe three lanes even, just to allow more traffic to flow through. Maybe three lanes going right, maybe to the south, maybe to the like not the south, maybe from the east side to the west side of Baltimore County. Cause the city is basically in the county, even though they don't consider it the county, but it's in the city. I mean, it's in the county still. So you have one lane that goes east on that one bridge, and then the other bridge, it goes to the west side, heading toward the west side of the county, and it's a 3-lane bridge. So basically, to sum it up, one bridge going right, one bridge going left. It's still the same bridge, just like the Delaware Bridge. Another way I could say they could build it is maybe make it taller, because just to avoid this tragedy happening again, or even a cargo ship accident. Maybe they could build the bridge taller, because at first when I looked at it, because I looked at it a couple times, and at first it looked like maybe like that thing on the top of the ship. I'm not sure what it's called. It's like a pole thing. No, like normally they have a pole thing on top of the ship, and it hit the foundation, like the thing that connects the bridge under. Then you got the pipelines and stuff. I thought it hit that for a second, and I'm like, at first I was saying, why wouldn't they build the bridge taller? If that's the case, you got these big cargo ships coming in and out of the city via the Chesapeake Bay. And with the growing population, man, you need those ships. You gotta have bigger cargo. You gotta ship them out quicker now. You gotta have more cargo. You gotta move it more. And by that, you also gotta expand the cargo ship so it can hold more cargo, more materials to move around. So you have to move around more materials at a faster pace. So it would be better if they upkeep it in a way where they can make the bridge taller, so that would, in case a tall ship goes through, it wouldn't hit that pillage. That's the way I was looking at it at first, but then I realized it wasn't the top of the cargo ship that hit the foundation. It really hit the brick. And when I looked at it the third time, I noticed that it hit the brick. It wasn't the foundation. So it hit the brick, and I was like, dang, man. I was like, damn. If it hit that and it still collapsed, then obviously something wasn't right. Obviously something still wasn't right. And it seemed like it was just the main part of the bridge. It was basically just like the main part of the bridge. You got the it was basically just that part of the bridge, like the main part where you got the thing covering it, the covered part. let's say, that fell into the water and it just collapsed. But the rest of the bridge was fine. And maybe one of the pieces snapped off. Maybe one of the metal iron things that connect the concrete across so that the weight could get through, the weight of the cars could, it could withstand the weight. One of those things that withstand the weight. It must have disconnected a part. And then that caused it to just slouch and fall like that. I'm going to look up on Google. I'm going to do a little Google experiment. The thing that connects. So it's like I want to say maybe like a girder or something like that. It's like an iron thing. One of those iron things that connect the concrete from. I think it's just connecting the concrete together, just for it to make sense. Maybe those snapped off because maybe they got screws inside. I'm guessing, for construction purposes, you gotta have those screws inside to connect the pieces together. And maybe one of those screws came off or something like that. How I'm guessing. And the screws that held it together could no longer support it due to the fact that they fell off from that iron piece. And that iron piece also disconnected with it. And the concrete just broke apart. And boom, right into the water. And it just snapped off like that. So I'm guessing maybe like that, something broke inside the foundation, and it just snapped off one of the pieces and broke off the concrete with it. So maybe that's a little science there, I'm guessing, of how it broke off. And maybe even another fact too. I think the other part about it is because when I noticed too, I looked at the screenshot of it, and it seemed like it also damaged the cargo ship, like the front end of it. So once like we'll just say like the supporter, the covered part of the bridge, the covered support pillage, it must have smashed right into the front end of the cargo ship. And it damaged that part as well. But hopefully the person that was driving it was not hurt. I obviously don't think for a second it was intentional. I doubt it was intentional. But say it was intentional. The people lost their lives, like the families of the people that lost their lives inside of that water after the collapse, they could see forward probably how much they ever want. Had it been intentional, maybe they could still sue, in spite of it not being intentional. But I truly don't think it was intentional, and I don't know if they should sue, because again, too, the evidence was right there, as it shows. The ship lost power 2 times, known evidence from the person who recorded in the video, and it just lost control, and due to that power switching on and off, it was nothing the ship could do to stop it from happening. So, hopefully, that sums up what I'm talking about when I describe that part of it. But again, we'll see what happens. I'm a little late on the topic. I'm sorry for that one. But that's just my view about it. And what I think I could also get into is, we obviously can't prevent anything like this happening. What happens can happen. But, we could try to take further precaution to avoid stuff from like this happening again. And, hopefully if they do rebuild the bridge, they could take further precaution. Maybe even add a toll. And so it's not as much traffic. It's not as much accidents on the bridge. Maybe even add signs and stuff for cargo ships if they're passing by, which tell them to go this way so they're not inclined to accidentally hit into that brick again and the same thing happen all over again. So hopefully something like this never happens again. And if a cargo ship passes by, it could get through safely, and the people across the bridge could get over safely as well. And one thing I also noticed too is that there's a bridge in the Delaware Bridge. It looks just like the Francis Scott. There's a bridge in the Delaware River. It looks just like the bridge, the Key Bridge. If I'm not mistaken, it's called Betsy Ross Bridge. I'm gonna show a picture from it that I got off of Google. It's called the Betsy Ross Bridge. That's the name of it. And that bridge is in the Delaware River. And they did a little example of it from the incident that happened with the Key Bridge. And they're saying, like, I think that bridge is maybe wider in length. And that maybe they could take the same security measures that maybe they could take security measures with that bridge that they never took with the Key Bridge in Baltimore to prevent something like that from happening to this bridge. So it seems like now, and I feel like this is gonna wake people up more. People are gonna be they're gonna be more inclined. They're gonna be more inclined to now act against the bridge safety, because bridge safety, I'm pretty sure it was taken seriously before, but it just wasn't taken as seriously up until this point where we see something like this happen and it goes viral all over the media, and now people are talking about it, and now people are bringing awareness to this. People saying no. How can this be avoided now? Because I don't think we ever seen something. Well, we've seen stuff like this happen before, but we've never seen it happen just like that before. I've never seen something like that happen before, especially not near where I live. So it seems like more people are trying to figure out how can we make bridges safer to get across. How can we make them stronger? How can we build them with more advanced material that we weren't able to build them with before? I think that should be the basis of it, because you never want something like this to happen ever, and hopefully it never happens again. And fun fact, I've been across that bridge a couple of times before when I was younger. I've been across that bridge a couple of times. I think the last time I was on that bridge was a couple years ago. Coming from Southern Maryland, so it definitely hits different once you lived here for a long time. Like, you notice like the symbolism that bridge brings, because you got that bridge, Chesapeake Bay Bridge, and then you got the Virginia Bay Bridge, which is the longest out of the three. So it's definitely brought some bridge phobia, because before I wasn't even scared of bridges, but now I kind of fear something like this could happen again, especially if we don't learn from this. So but I think a lot of people love that bridge. I seen a couple of pictures, nice photoshopped pictures of it from Google, and from time to time too, I do go on Google Maps and look at it. I won't lie about that. But now that it's destroyed, man, I don't know. I don't even know what's next. Hopefully they still do make it higher in case a big cargo comes in one day. Because regardless, they're gonna need to do something. They can't just wait, and wait like they did up until this point, and something like this happened. Now they're feeling inclined to act just because of the fact that it happened. Now they should have done this years ago to make improvements. So that's one day, and I hope they learn from this. And another thing I want to say is that a lot of people are gonna miss this bridge because it had been that way for so long. It looked like a beautiful bridge, man. Beautiful bridge. I even loved it myself too. But seeing this bridge going like that and the people go with it too, it was just devastating to see. Very devastating to see something like that happen. I think too, if I'm not mistaken, before all the traffic came, they had to stop. They had to stop all the traffic because if the traffic just kept coming, it would have been more people endangered and fell into the water. So it was a good thing that, at least they stopped traffic. To avoid further incident. Because it could have really been anybody in that scenario. We don't know. And it could have been somebody on there. So luckily it wasn't that case. But for the people who did make it, I hope they're alright, man. And I hope they never experience something like this again. Another thing about that bridge too, being a Marylander, man, that bridge connects, from 95, 695. It basically goes all around. It basically goes all around the state, so to keep it short, it basically is an interstate. Basically an interstate version of the bridge. It's basically an interstate. So it basically loops around the city. And it goes from east to west, even Washington, D.C. to southern Maryland and the northern, and it could go to New York. It could go to the New York Highway. It could basically do all of that. Keep it short. So it could be a good bridge for transportation, like if you're a truck worker or whatever. Then I could see why you would take it. But now, because of this, people I'm guessing people are gonna have to start taking the tunnels now. People are gonna have to start taking the tunnels. The tunnels are gonna be packed. I was saying the other day too. The tunnels are gonna have to be packed. They're definitely gonna be packed. Because now, due to it being temporarily closed, as it states on Google Maps, you're gonna have to take the Fort McHenry tunnel instead, or the Harbor tunnel, if you want to get to that part of the city, or if you want to get across to that part of the highway that goes to New York and up, to Connecticut and all. So, that's an interstate highway. It goes from state to state, to keep it basic. So I feel like it's gonna make transportation a little bit, let's say a little bit more time consuming, because it's not an extra way to get to that highway. The extra way, it's it's been hit by a tragic moment. So now, I don't know, man. I really don't know, but hopefully they take further precaution, and hopefully they could do something to where like they had signs around that bridge, so cargo ships could even be safer too. So they could be safe. Because you want everybody to be safe. You want the cargo ships that's driving, and you want the people going over that bridge to even be safe. And another thing too is, whoever see this video, thank you for watching me ramble, man. I was debating on whether I should get out this video today or not. But I was like, let me do it. Let me see. I'm gonna just get my view about it. I'm gonna just make a video about it. Whoever views it, views it. But I was like, let me get this video out because I know this topic's been trending lately, and it's a very severe subject that I think all of us should put an importance, put a focus to. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of us travel, and you don't want something like this to happen. So you can only try to avoid it. Can't really prevent it, but you could at least try to avoid it. And just drive safe out there. If you drive, just drive safe. Be safe. And to those people, man, that were involved, the people who didn't make it, sorry, you didn't get to go home or go to where you were going to. But the people who did make it, hopefully, they could, see this as a learning experience, and this never happens again to them. And they could just make it home safe, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. It would be different if, let's say this, in this scenario, it would be different if the cargo hit the boat, like if the cargo ship boat hit the thing, and all the cargo just fell off. That's fine, and as long as nobody was hurt, that would be fine. Because it could be cars and those cargo things. It could be clothes, raw materials, anything that's being shipped to other countries. But if those fall in the water, and nobody's hurt, that's all that matters. Because cargo, all of that stuff is replaceable. Cars, materials, all of that stuff. Living things are not. They're not replaceable. So if that were just the case, if they hit the bridge still and all the cargo fell out, but nobody was hurt. Unfortunately, people were hurt, but let's say in a scenario people weren't, then it would all be fine and easy, clean up. They could get all that cargo out of the water, etc., etc. So it definitely would have made things a lot more stressing. It wouldn't be as much money to pay for the damage. If I'm not mistaken, too, it's gonna cost $60 million from Google. I saw a source on Google where they said it's gonna cost $60 million to rebuild the bridge. It's gonna cost $60 million to rebuild that bridge. So the amen, they're still rescuing people. Obviously, some people missing. I've seen. So they're looking offshore. I'm going to see people who missing underwater. And so it's about $60 million in damage. And obviously, that's a lot to recover from. I'm not sure. I'm sure that impacts the city more than anything. But it also impacts the economy too. So hopefully that $60 million could go to improving the safety and getting across that bridge. I think that's pretty much all I had to say. But again, and they're still finding many people. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people that were there at the time, that early in the morning on March 26th. But you know, we'll see what's gonna happen. I'm sure this could affect this. If you live in Maryland too, this affects you a lot. If you live in that part of Maryland, like the city, then it affects your transportation, like how you get to work, what ways you're gonna need to go to get to work, and etc. So just be safe out there. All the people watching too. People watch the videos. If you drive, be safe. It don't matter where you are. Just be safe. You know, be safe when going across bridges, man. Be safe, because I feel like this is about a new fear, bridge phobia. I feel like it might become more common just after witnessing this. Something as tragic as this. So, respect to all the people putting their life on the line, saving those people underwater. And, hopefully this could all be dealt with soon. Hopefully this could all be dealt with going later into the year. Because the year just started. It felt like the year just started. And we're only like 3 months into the year. Almost April, that quick. Bro, we're almost near April. And 2024 is already crazy. I don't even know if this is a Black Swan event. This could be possibly, like, I looked it up on Google too. This could be a Black Swan event. But I doubt it is, though. I think it was just an unintentionally, caused. I think it was just unintentionally caused. Let's just say, I don't think it was Black Swan. What happened in New York back in 2001, I don't feel comfortable saying it on YouTube, but you know what I mean. But I think that was because it was predicted by The Simpsons, but I don't think this was predicted by The Simpsons. So, luckily, that's not the case. This wasn't planned. She doesn't feel like it. Hopefully not. But that's pretty much all I had to say, man. This truly hurt me, man, a lot. And I felt like making a video about this. As it happened in Maryland, Baltimore, and obviously I live in Baltimore. I live near Baltimore, and it could have been any of my family members too, because I know I had family all across the state, so, and all across the world. So it could have been anybody. And, we were just making sure everybody's safe and made it home safe in case they were out doing whatever. And it could have been them, but luckily it wasn't them. And I'm glad that they're not in that situation. The people who survived, it was 8 people who went into the water. 2 were rescued, but the other 6, part of the construction crew that had been filling the potholes on the bridge, are missing and presumed to not make it. So they're still investigating it, obviously. And still in the investigation, there were some people that went missing, I heard. And it was like 6 victims who were Southern American, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Six workers plunged into the water. And this is from APC, the source. And there was a red pickup submerged rope 25 feet and under the water. So that's basically what we know so far. So be careful. Whatever you do, just keep a heads up. Just know that this could affect you. That this could affect you if you live in Maryland. And that who knows what they're gonna do next. We don't really know. But just hopefully they could find things out in time. And make up a better plan. So anyway, guys, that's all I had to say. Hope you enjoyed the talk. That's just my view on the Key Bridge situation there. really tragic, a bad catastrophe, but life goes on. And yeah, peace out.